In today's episode, we buy another parts car. Hey everybody, happy Father's Day in today's bonus episode. So last week, I officially fell down the rabbit hole. As I've done many times before in my life, I bought another parts car. Actually, it used to be one of my project cars about 5 years ago. For those who follow me on Instagram at Mk1 Build, I started off that channel a long time ago, working on a green Manila Mk1. And it was 1980 as well, and it had some rust issues at the get-go, so I started getting to work on repairing a lot of those rust issues. And sometime along the way I was contacted with another Mk1 that was for sale in the area, took a look at it, ended up buying it, and that became Project White Rabbit. So at some point I realized that having both project cars at the time wasn't really a priority for me, so I actually sold off Project Manila. So fast forward about 5 years later, searching on Marketplace right now, looking for odds and ends, little parts and that sort of thing, and I found it for sale again. So I don't know anybody else who's been in this position, but when you see your old project car for sale, something inside of you ticks, and it's something you just feel like you got to do. So I bought it. So let's take a look at it. Well, here it is in all its glory. It's not exactly as I sold it. As you can see, if you look at the roof and the pillars and a little bit of spot on the door, you can see underneath that black primer is the green Manila factory paint. I sold it with some patch panels that I hadn't quite got to. A lot of the car's rust repair was mostly taken care of, but at that time the car I had bought, Project White Rabbit now, was in a lot better condition rust-wise. Actually, it has no rust in it at all, so I decided to pass on this car. But I got a lot done at that point. I had repaired a lot of holes in the floor with new patch panels. I had repaired a lot of the inners. You can see in the front driver's side corner, that whole inner is all brand new. Inner on the passenger side is also half brand new, as most of the inner part further in on the inner wasn't quite so rusty. But in the meantime, the owner who purchased it from me carried on with the parts collection. So when I saw this car up for sale, I knew right off the bat I needed to buy it, because the parts that you can't see in the picture were the things that I wanted back. And I'll show you those in a few minutes. But as you can see hung in the background, he had collected quite a few spares. The black front fenders I actually grabbed back in my time with the car off of a cabrio in a junkyard I found. They're actually mint. They're pretty close to brand new. That blue bumper, he had purchased that in the meantime. The silver hood, he had purchased that in the meantime. Matches the parts in the background hanging on the wall there. There's a ton of other parts that came with this car that I'll show you real quick, that were a lot of the reason why I chose to buy this car back. And I don't know what fate's down the road for this car, but a lot of the parts I want to use it on the Project Stepchild. So as you can also see now, this car has a motor. It didn't have a motor when I first sold it. It is a 2-liter 8-valve in the car with a transmission. I believe they're both out of I think a 97 or 96. I'm not exactly sure. It has relatively low kilometers, 160 or 170,000 is what he told me. I won't be using that for anything, but let's take a look at all the car parts that did come with it. As you can see back here, I've started to stockpile a lot of the parts the car came with. There's an original fender that was on the car in primer state. That fender's not mint. It's got some small little dents in it, but you can see all the other stuff that came with it. There's spare engine parts, brake spin from a newer Mark II, I believe, Mark III, I don't know. Could be even a cabrio with the newer knuckles on it. We got the fan cage there, bunch of wiper motors, A-arms, front lower A-arms, a whole bin of all the little bolts and clips and everything. It's got a set of suspension there, 2 doors. Again, these have the openable windows, which I'm going to replace in the red car because the windows came unglued. Got spare fenders. Also right here, it's got a whole cabrio clip, came with the car as well. He had collected that in the meantime, and the clip's completely rust free. So at some point in time, I may use that for something else. Car itself also came with matching back blue bumper and has newer tail lights, which need to be cleaned up a little bit, as well as a whole bunch of wiring for the 2-liter motor that's in the car. You can see the original green paint is inside, as well as got the original green interior. I should show you that he did replace the dash with a cabrio dash, as well as the center console and then the lower dash trim right here. So that's not factory stuff to this car. I did get the factory dash. You can see it's right there. That is a factory black 80s dash, so that will go with the car. I may potentially use that in an interior swap, because you can see the carpet here is also brand new. Or not brand new, it's newer. It's from the cabrio that he parted. So I might choose to go that route in the interior for the red car rather than the tan interior. As far as the rest of the car goes, the window is missing there, so I had to take it out and I covered it up just to make sure. So the outside is all sealed up. In the interior here, he's got cabrio door panels on it that he took off. Outside the car, we got some aftermarket suspension in here as well. I'll have to check the condition of all that. It's got a newer power rack out of a 92 cabrio. It's got newer knuckles, so it takes the bigger drive shaft. Underneath here, we got a 2-liter engine. Got another one of those cages over top of it. And as you can see, the rack in the back there. I probably won't end up using that, but we'll see. Then this bumper, I'm not really sure. Maybe the comments can tell me exactly what this bumper is, but I know the top part is one of those Euro bumpers, and then it's got some underlip on it, but I don't know what that lip is. But maybe somebody can help me out in the comment section there. Again, newer black fenders like the other sides. Again, it's got newer brakes, newer knuckles. Down the car, he's done a little bit of mirror transferring and that sort of thing. Again, these doors are in good condition. I may or may not use those, or at least one of them on my white car. A couple keen parts here that I wanted to make sure I pointed out was this whole set of grill pieces here. So you can see that piece right here is a deep duck bill for the front of this car, and I sold it with this car when I got rid of it 5 years ago, and I was super keen on getting that back, as well as I sold it with a brand new the whole front valance round headlight swap. So I may use that in Project White Rabbit at some point, or I don't know, I'm kind of mixed emotions on that, but it is brand new, never been welded in, never been cut out. It is a stamped piece, so I'll keep that in my collection for whatever reason. As well as in this box here is a brand new fuel tank for a Mk1 that I bought back in the day that I never installed. Got some patch panels and that kind of thing, as you can see here. These are both rear arch patch panels. Got a couple of the little, down on the side, couple little of the rear nose piece patch panels. But it's all really good stuff, and it's things I can definitely use. So I'm pretty excited about a lot of this. Some of the other stuff I may just choose to sell. We'll kind of see how it goes. So why buy all these parts cars, and what's the logic behind that? Why did I buy 3 cars trying to repair one? Well, it's simple, really. Some of these parts individually might cost you $100 or $200 for this part or that part. I think that's what's important to remember here is when you purchase one of these cars as is, you get every component in the car for maybe a few $100s more than a single part may cost you. So in purchasing a car like this, or a couple parts cars like this, I'm basically acquiring everything I'm going to need in one purchase, and then you have the opportunity to then therefore sell what you don't need off to pay for the purchase of the car. So essentially you're acquiring the parts for free. I also have a cache now of multiple fenders to choose from, multiple doors to choose from. I have all the little bits and components I may need. Everything together allows it to be able to finish a complete car with the proper part selection I may need to do so. So super confident in buying these 2 cars. Between the Scirocco you guys saw last episode and the Father's Day bonus of this car, together between the 2 of them, I can get to work real efficiently now on Project Stepchild and see it to completion. So I'm pretty excited about getting this car. I'm pretty excited about the combo, about being able to take powertrain and suspension components from Scirocco, as well as this particular car comes with a lot of the body panels and that kind of thing we need to kind of work with this car. I also did out of camera. It came with a set of Corrado Steelies, which are in pretty mint shape, as well as a set of Renault wheels that I probably won't use, but nevertheless, again, it's more things you can sell off to pay for the purchase of this car. So in my particular opinion, I highly recommend buying a couple parts cars to make this all work all together. I'm not into these cars for that much money, and I think combined at the end of it, whether I choose to actually take the shell from this car and a lot of the parts you see on the back wall and that sort of thing, and kind of put this car together and sell it to somebody else as a package once I've taken what I need from it, is entirely an option there. It did come with papers and all that stuff, so I still can pass that on to somebody who can still use it. I'll sell it with all the patch panels that are behind me so they can complete the car, so it's not a write-off. I'm not going to be wasting this car. Scirocco, as you saw, the Scirocco's rusty enough as it is, so that's not going on to anybody else, but there's a lot of usable parts there that I could sell off that I don't need while taking a 2-liter, which, you know, back in the day, 2 liters used to be really, you know, widely used. Everybody had one. They're in all the cars. It was a common swap. And nowadays, those motors are a lot harder to come by. People use them up, and they've gone in cars that have died long ago, and those motors are starting to disappear. So they are kind of hard to find. So finding that motor was something that I, you know, kind of completed the idea of the build I wanted for Project Stepchild. So I had to jump on that engine, as well as all the other bits came with that car. So super keen on getting into this car, and I think as far as the next episode goes, there won't be a lot of talking. We'll start getting to work. There's a ton of things we can do. I want to swap over the suspension kind of immediately, put the car on its new wheels after I clean it up, and really start to focus on getting this car to start to be something. And I'm looking forward to getting to episodes where we don't do a lot of this. We do a lot of focusing on moving the car forward. So I'm pretty excited about that. I want to show you guys this. You know, happy bonus episode, happy Father's Day. Look forward to talking to you guys on Wednesday. Take care.